All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got another one for you. This is the Deba version of the same knife, and I was telling people that I'm a big fan of single bevel blades. I really do like them, and so to me, I wanted to make this one for myself. A single bevel for testing. You know, I have so many blanks. I'm going to be making so many of these, and I need to have different models. But there's a chef friend of mine, Richard Sloan, here in Helsinki, and he's quite a popular chef. He's worked in some very popular restaurants, and many years ago he was like, "Hey, can you make me exactly this that I made yesterday? This exact same thing, the ring, all monolithic forged. He wanted it forged Damascus, single piece handle, ring, and the blade, he wanted it to be like this long. You know, he said he wants for processing chicken and crushing and everything. So this is close enough, right? Because I like to have multi-purpose. And this here is your Deba multi-purpose karambit. And, of course, you can do everything you can do with the other knife that you can do with this. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Hold on a second. So this is the one I've been playing with. It's a double beveled convex grind, ultra sharp, crazy edge retention, nasty blade. Okay, nasty blade. You know, this is the kind of thing you carry. You know, this is the sort of edge that people in Japan have been carrying for several hundred years. It's like a katana style kind of thing going on there, albeit a little bit different, of course. But yeah, so they both chop the same. The nice thing with single bevels, right, is when you chop into a plank and you chop into a log, you chop into something, that cut is perfectly straight. So when you're talking about like camp work, if you want to cut yourself some nice flat joinery or whatever, it's better to have a single bevel, right? If you baton this, it'll baton into the wood like a chisel would, right? So I think in terms of utility, I think the single bevel makes more sense for this design because I'm going for an all-around knife. I'm going for a knife that does everything for you, you know? So I think the single bevel here is really the right approach to doing that, to get the full potential. But again, I need to make all sorts of different types of models. You know, on one of these I'll be, doing full flat grinds, and clip points and stuff. So the key thing for me right now is just to make some, because I don't have too many finished. So you won't be seeing any handles just yet. I'm going to make like 10, 15, 20 of them before I start like wrapping handles and doing some handle work. Because I got a lot of custom orders for other knives right now. Puukos, kitchen knives. Today, I'll be spending most of the day hand sharpening this on the stones. I did a lot of it yesterday here. But this is hand-forged 115 CRV3 core with iron laminations. Very thin. This is a very difficult knife to make. And I'll probably take 3 or 4 hours on the big stone there just to get that edge finished up. So that's a lot of work just to finish up the edge, And I'd rather be working on my customers' knives than putting some handles on my own fancy little blades when I'm already totally good with the skeletonized version. The nice thing when it's skeletonized is it's super easy to clean. You don't have like these, ridges and ledges and whatnot all over the place that you gotta, clear out. And if you got some raw materials, it's not the same as G10 would be awesome, here. Some kind of, the goal, like I said before, is to make these out of Elmax eventually, and then have injection molded handles. So super badass blade. And I think most people would probably be more familiar with a blade like this. Now, granted, you need some pretty heavy duty sharpening stones to you know, if you're gonna buy an expensive full steel, you know, karambit like this with all the heft that it does have, you know. But again, I got options. Here's the single bevel with a, you know, the sheaths will be 2-layer. See, like this. This is what it's supposed to look like. I forgot to cut off the top off that one, but it's kind of nice because now you get the actual effect. And when it's double layer like this, it just feels really professional. It feels clean. It feels right. That's the easiest way to put it. Like 2 layers of Kydex feels very right. It feels really good. So it does shine a little bit here. This was the first like finished prototype, so there's no edge here. It's not sharp, but you're not gonna cut yourself. But it does show a little bit, unlike here on this one. I don't want to scratch the edge. There's a bit of, see, that's nice. And see that rivet lock? You can really fucking lock it in there. So, you know, I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff that can be ordered that you can use as clips for your military vest. Or I like to hang them under my armpit. I just put a long string like this, right? I don't hang anything on my belt. I don't put anything in my pockets in my pants. My Bowie knife, my pikal. This is my pikal that I have around my neck, right? It's on a necklace. I don't carry it in my pockets or anything. Same with this. This is under my t-shirt, under my shirt, hanging under my armpit. Same with my Bowie knife on the other side. So very safe, easy to carry like this. When it's upside down though, you gotta be careful. You gotta have something on top because it's quite easy to get this ring actually snagged onto things. So keep that and bear that in mind. Simple product, very effective. I'll at some point, of course, do, you know, all these chopping videos and all that. And but the main goal right now, what I want to do, is get these shipped out to the industrial heat treating, and then, you know, make some more, send them to YouTubers for some abuse tests, so that we can see how intense this product really is. But I'll do some of my own chopping stuff. It's just, you know, if you have an axe, this chops like an axe. You know, if you have a skinning knife, this skins like a skinning knife. So I don't really do a lot of testing videos because most flat pieces of metal with an edge on them will pass a lot of the knife tests that people do. So, you know, it's like, it'll look cool. It'll be a fun video. You can see a lot of chopping, but it's not like you're gonna see really anything different between too many knives and how they perform really at the end of the day, especially when it comes to chopping and whatnot. So I'll definitely do some videos and just so you can see, you know, how these perform out of the box. I guess it would be, what would be your out of the box experience. Because a knife like this, you know, if you don't know how to sharpen a Deba, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know about micro bevels, you don't know about single bevels, you don't know about convex grinds, you're gonna need to, you know, you're gonna have to learn a little bit about sharpening. But it's a great product. I have a hard time going anywhere without it. Yeah, it's chunky. Yeah, it's big. But it's not like really all that heavy. Like 308. Okay, with the sheath, this is like a nut and fancy moment where they, you know, we got to talk about weight and size, philosophy of use. There should be like the TNP standard, you know. So 500 grams with a sheath and the cord. So half a kilo, you know. How much does a Glock weigh? like 800 grams. I don't think it weighs even a kilo. I think the 1911 weighs like 1.1 or 1.2 kilos or something. It's heavy as fuck, full steel frame. That weighs about as much as a sword. You know, like a 1911 weighs about as much as a Viking sword. Half a kilo, that's like half a sword. Half a pretty decent, like a one-handed sword weighs 1.5 kilos max. A high quality, you know, Dark Age, Iron Age sword made of steel from that era. You're talking like 900 grams for a full-sized Viking sword. That's just a testament to how freaking badass these people were, you know, and it's twice the weight of this. So, you know, it makes you think. There's a lot of chopping power in this. There really is, and there's a lot of utility in it. And there's a huge amount of strength in this product. When a piece of metal is 6.2 millimeters thick, you're talking about something that, you know, is substantially oversized for human use. Like, there aren't really too many humans around that can break a 6.2 millimeter hardened and tempered carbon steel piece of metal. It's a huge amount of effort that you need to actually break through this with your own physical force, with your own bare hands, you know. Even a ring this thin here, that takes quite a lot of force from a normal human being to break. It's, you know, we're not that strong. Even the strongest people on Earth and the strongest people in history are not that strong. When I was 17 years old, I deadlifted 285 kilos 5 times in a row in one set. I ripped my lower left back muscle, and for 2-3 weeks I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit. It was extremely excruciating pain. Couldn't sleep, couldn't lay down. Laying down was more painful than standing up. There's only really one position I could be in that caused no stress. And, you know, it's like, yeah, okay, so that's, I mean, in those times, you know, according to the internet, the world record for somebody that young was 250 kilos once. Yeah, it's pretty strong, but at the time I didn't feel like it was, you know. It went like 6 years went by before somebody told me that it's a world record. It never crossed my mind to even check. I just it never really occurred to me that I never really cared about it. So technically speaking, I actually have a deadlifting world record when I was 17. But, you know, it's not like I'm a strong person. You know, if I go out there and, you know, even though technically speaking, at some point in time in my life, I was one of the strongest people in history, I still wasn't able to, like, you know, I could lift my friend's moped car off the ground. I could deadlift, like, the front part off the ground, the engine part. But, like, there's nothing, like, when it comes to something like this, I couldn't break it. Somebody who's never been to the gym, who's a scrawny 60, 70 kilo dude, that's like 1 meter 90 tall, will have as much difficulty trying to break this as, you know, Ronnie Coleman, I think. So, you know, it takes a huge amount of force that is beyond, you know, the human realm of physical strength potential to really break one of these. You're gonna have to go out of your way, and you're gonna have to be very determined. Now we don't know because it hasn't been fully tested that way. But when it comes to steel and hardened steel and modern, pure, very refined steel and 6.2 millimeters thick, you know, go out there, go get a leaf spring from a truck that's about 6 millimeters thick, like one of those layers. Try and break that. Try. So, yeah. I try my best to be humble. So, and, you know, when you're humble, you know certain answers to certain things, but you don't make a big deal about it. You're just like, this is the answer you're looking for, even if you don't know any of the questions. You know what I mean? Like a humble person, I guess, knows all the questions, knows the answers to these questions. And people who are not so humble, people who are learning through life, they don't even know the questions to ask. This is the answer to all your questions that you don't even know how to ask. No, but really, this is cool. These are around $300 each. It's $350 on Etsy now with free shipping. It's gonna be almost impossible for me to sell these for less than $300 euros, dollars. It's just simply not going to happen. It takes a whole day to make sure that this is a ready product. So, and then there's all the other work I gotta do. Flagship model. These are probably best to order like custom style. The cheapest ones are going to be the ones that I've already made, right? That are available and designs that are down in money. But if you're looking for something very specific, you know, with clip point, sharp ass clip point, you know, different types of grinds or whatever, then of course contact me. We got a blank here, a basic blank, and we can work with this and whatever you're interested. Although custom orders with me, they generally start, you know, 500 euros, just, you know, down payment to start, because most of the time what happens is somebody wants a custom order, several months goes by, the knife is made, and they're like, sorry, I don't have money, I can't buy it right now. Which is fine, but I have to see that money before I can start working. Otherwise, you're not going to see the knife, and otherwise I might not see the money. It's just how it works. And I think a lot of people would understand that. And 500 euros, it might sound like a lot. $500, it might sound like a lot, but, you know, I'm sure most people, $500, that's, you know, month and a half, 2 months of groceries for a family max, you know. So a lot of people spend $2,000 on bread every year, you know, 365 days of the year. And you buy a loaf for your family every day. That's $2, $3, $4, $5, $6. Maybe 2 loaves or 3 loaves. How many loaves a week does a family eat? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loaves. That's $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 a day on bread. You know, 2 kilos of flour will cost you $1, and that's enough bread to make, you know, fucking 100 loaves. So, you know, if you want to buy expensive knives, start baking bread. You'll save like $1,000 a year just on bread. You see, there's another answer to a question you didn't know you had to ask. I don't think I'm actually that humble though, guys, so don't take it too seriously. I prefer being sarcastic and ironic than being literal and factual. So, and there's these I'll be making soon. So one of the reasons you don't see a clip point on these is because I think after a lot of experimentation, I think it's better to just have your pikal like this, very light, than to have your clip point on these, because then you can baton with this. And on this particular Deba, I left this here relatively sharp so that you can stone with the flint. What's it called? Fire starter. So it's a little bit hard corner there. Not super hard corner, but hard enough so that you can get some action going on your flint stone. And then everything else here, everything else is rounded. So here it is, guys. That's it. Isn't she beautiful? The HMKarambit Deba. The Deba HMKarambit. Isn't she beautiful? You could fillet a fish with this. You could run a restaurant with this. I know somebody who does. So, beautiful blade. At some point I'll do one with an Ura, but I need a new contact wheel for that. Heavy duty, very thick, and a lot of potential. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I sure did, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Join my Discord channel and all that. I need to expand my social media because Instagram is not really helpful at growing accounts, so I gotta do something else. And a lot of people have wanted me to do YouTube videos for a very, very long time and start, like, you know, podcasts and stuff like that so we can discuss interesting things. I'm always open for all that, but I'm a difficult person to reach. You know, some would say stoic. I like to just be by myself in the woods, nobody bothering me, you know. That's why I don't bring my phone in the forge. Like, yeah, I could take a bunch of pictures of me forging and videos, but it takes all the magic away from my work, you know. It's like, you know, this is forged from this, right, to make this. That's a very, very nice EDC knife. And it takes a lot to forge from this to this. But that's also the most important step you need to film to show everybody. And I just want to make the knives, you know. But, yes, One more last view. Reach out.